What existed when you were a child that doesn't exist now? Restaurant smoking sections. Airplane smoking sections. I was on a plane last year that still had the small metal opening ashtray on the armrest. I thought, man, this must be an old aircraft. Last I heard, the ashtray in the toilet is required for a commercial plane to fly, as banning people from smoking doesn't stop idiots from trying to sneak one in the toilet, and having an ashtray means hopefully they'll use it rather than doing something else which might cause a fire. You don't want a fire at 40k feet. I was on a cross-country red-eye LA to NYC. 3 different women who sat in front of me each went into the lav and sparked up something smoky. She and her mates were turned over to police when we landed. OMG, I took a Greyhound overnight, and it was literally right after the driver announced we would have a stop in 10 minutes, that the guy sitting next to me lit a cig in the bathroom. We had already been on the bus for 3 to 4 hours, you couldn't wait 10 more minutes for your cigarette? Bro had to pre-game before the 2 cigs he powered down at the stop. I smoked 2 cigs before I smoked 2 cigs, and then I smoked 2 more. Okay, sublime. Blockbuster. There's still one in Bend, Oregon. Does it still rent out movies and everything? Yup, it does. Can they still collect my late fees? If they audited all of us, Blockbuster could have the greatest comeback in United States history. This was one of the coolest things about living there, going in on a Friday night to look at rentals. I miss it. I feel like these days there's a certain paralysis by analysis when it comes to choosing a movie for my family Friday nights. So often I get on Netflix and we say, oh, this could be a good one, then keep looking until suddenly I realize it's been 45 minutes and we're still looking. While my local Blockbuster had a large selection, we'd typically be in and out in 15 minutes max. If we hated the movie we picked, oh well, it was what it was. Also, knowing we weren't going to drive back made us give movies a chance even if we didn't love it initially. These days, if someone isn't captivated within the first 15 to 20 minutes, they're asking to see what else was available. KB Toys. Toy stores in general. Toys R Us, Child World. It's all Walmart, Target, or Amazon now. Toys R Us is coming back. They just opened a new flagship and have plans to open 20-some-odd stores in the US. They were one of the opening floats in the Macy's parade, and I questioned if they were even still in business. I remember when Toys R Us went out of business, they were selling everything in the store, including the store, shelving, etc. I tried to buy the Jeffrey costume but was denied by the manager because another company was buying the IP. I always secretly knew they'd be back, lol. Yeah, there's still demand for brick-and-mortar toy stores. Toys R Us bankruptcy was because of mismanagement. Malmanagement, it was no accident, just executive pillaging from shareholders. I thought I heard Macy's bought them, and not only are they doing new stores, they are incorporating the brand into their stores. I should research all that because I just heard it word of mouth. I think it started earlier this year. Many Macy's locations rebranded their toy sections as Toys R Us. The ones I've seen have been underwhelming. If Toys R Us is actually going to start opening standalone stores again, then that's new. Yeah, just saw a big coming soon area for it at the Mall of America. Macy's is renting the name for their toy sections basically. They've stocked more toys than before due to the loss of TRU in the market, but they're still just using the name. I loved when Toys R Us was closing back in 2018. When it neared the end, I was buying every LOL surprise doll at the locations near me. I was buying the whole box if I could. 2 of my closest friends would binge watch a TV show or a newly released movie, and we would start opening up the dolls. It was an awesome profit selling them online. It was unbelievable the prices people would pay for the rare or ultra rare. I usually listed mine anywhere from $5 to $10 cheaper cause I wanted to sell them fast. I bought my niece stuff that she was too young to play with at the time, but I figured she would like later. She has every DC superhero girl doll, tons of Wonder Woman dolls from the first movie, Pokemon cards that she recently started getting into, tons of Disney stuff. Funko Pops. I bought and sold so many Funko Pops. Damn, that was a fun time. Now I bet Toys R Us will be overpriced. The high beam switch in your car was on the floor by your left foot. Oh, and having to pull out the choke to start the car. I had a '79 Pontiac Lemons with an automatic choke that didn't work. I used to pop the hood, manually turn the choke, start the car, and then chill for 5 minutes or so until the engine would warm up enough that I could turn the choke back and drive away. Fun times. My auto choke on my '69 Beetle doesn't engage anymore. It worked flawlessly about a decade ago, and I have to manually set it to start her up. However, a tap of the throttle pedal once warmed up turned it off for me. It's just a coil of wire that expands my guy, easy to fix. I'm aware, but I have about a dozen other automotive tasks that are more important than getting easier starts on a car that gets driven 2 weeks of the year. Plus, it's set up as a rat rod with the engine exposed like a Baja, so it's easy enough to engage when I approach the car. 9 planets. My young niece just found out the solar system used to have 9 planets, but now only has 8. She thought something horrible happened to Pluto, and we sensed a deluge of existential dread creeping into her. If Pluto could disappear so suddenly, end up so thoroughly obliterated as to simply no longer be, can't we? I mean, yes, but... We quickly explained that Pluto was just reclassified as a dwarf planet, and we always had dozens of dwarf planets like Ceres and Make. Pluto is still there, and even after the change, we still shot some pretty phenomenal photos of it. But for just a fleeting moment, my niece came face to face with the horrifying indifference of cosmic forces. And the look in her eyes assured me that I should wait a couple years before introducing her to Kurzgesagt videos. I know it's silly, but we all sort of collectively love and care for Pluto. Gotta stand up for the little guy. You know that's right. Privacy. Back in the day, the only way someone could know what I was up to was if they physically followed me. Now, my smartphone does that for them. If you leave your smartphone at home, it's like being completely off the grid. I did it by accident by losing my phone. I found it later, and it was like being back in the 90s. Except without the payphones or businesses willing to let you use yours, which is my answer to this thread. Aw, yeah, that's true. And most people don't have landlines anymore either, so you'd be hard-pressed to ask a neighbor to use their phone unless they lent you their cell. I've been super lucky in that I've managed to talk random strangers into letting me use their cell phones when I've lost mine or my battery has died, but I can see why a lot of people would not be comfortable doing that. It's kind of scary how crippled people are nowadays without their phones. Indoor water fountains and indoor playground areas in malls. Add to that, malls. Still around in Minnesota. It gets really cold and snowy here, so having a single place to go shopping is still, barely, viable. We also have a horrible issue with porch piracy, so unless you work from home, all that you get out of Amazon is a cheery notification you have about 10 minutes to race home before the packages walk with Jesus. Do drop-off stations not exist? Here in Germany, unless you explicitly specify that it's fine to leave your package somewhere around the house, they may not just leave it sitting on your porch. They either have to give it to a neighbor, or they take it with them again and it lands either inside a locker or in a local shop that does package handling as a side business. Either way, you get a notification with where your package was taken and a passcode that you need to retrieve it, or the name of the neighbor who signed on your behalf. We rather have to struggle with the fact that many delivery companies don't even bother ringing your door, they just slip the little "couldn't reach you, you can pick up your package at XXX" notification into your mailbox, even though you were at home and listening to the doorbell all day long. Freedom. Starting around age 10 to around age 14, when I got back from school, nobody knew where I was until dinner, and nobody cared. The only rule was be home before dinner, which was about 7 p.m. I would just hit my bike, join up with the knothole gang in the neighborhood, and we would just ride all over the place and go where we wanted and do what we wanted. Basically, we were the kids from Stranger Things, albeit with a lot less paranormal activity. No cell phones, not even any pagers. I'm 46, so this was some 35 years ago. Seems like it could be 350 years ago now. Now you almost never see a kid riding anywhere on his bike, and nobody knows their neighbors. I'm 31 and most of my childhood memories involve biking around the neighborhood with the other kids, playing kickball at the park, hopping the neighbor's fence to get to my friend's backyard, and other harmless shenanigans. We came in when the neighbor rang the giant bell in their backyard at 6:30 signifying dinner or when the street lights came on. My parents didn't care as long as we adhered to the rules and were home and washed up by dinner. In the evening we watched Jeopardy as a family, and then my brother and I went to the basement to watch our shows or play ping pong while MTV blared in the background until bedtime. I remember rushing home from the bus stop to catch T or L after school and watch the new music videos while I did homework. Sick days meant getting to watch Jerry Springer and Maury while my parents were at work and would call to check in. In the summer, we watched TV, played with neighborhood kids, or went swimming until my parents got home from work. The main memory is that we weren't home often. We were always outside unless the weather didn't allow for it. I'm 28 and that's exactly what we do when I was younger. Except no dinner rule. My parents didn't give a damn as long as I showed back up and went to school. Or if we got caught doing something stupid. The neighbor thing is what gets me too. I grew up in rural WV on a farm, everyone on the road knew each other. Nowadays they act like it's crazy to talk to them when I visit. Yeah man, I spent my summers on a bike with my friends exploring roads and making friends with neighbors. Good times. I blame that bastard who kidnapped Jacob Wetterling in 1989. He ruined everything. Go to usual hangout spot, check who's there. Don't see anyone, go ask their mom if they can come out. Be home by dark or dinner, depending on the season. Having lots of things to do even if you have no money or very little. Make your own fun, be a kid and skirt boundaries and learn by making small mistakes. Please like and subscribe for more daily content.